Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett is here from Sunny Cyprus and welcome to today's tutorial. And today we're looking at web pages and we're going to be using Microsoft Web Expression. As promised, I'm going to be doing more tutorials using this software because a lot of you are using Expression Web instead of Dreamweaver. Now, today we're going to be focusing on the meta tags and some other tags that we put inside the head section of a HTML web page. There was a paper for the ICT examination, Cambridge 0417, in June 2023, paper 3.1, where the entire web section, the whole section of web design, was basically focused 22 marks on putting these tags in the head section. And that was it. A pretty nasty paper for those of you that didn't actually study that particular component. So what we're going to be covering today, well, I'm going to start off with an introduction with the structure of a web page, where the head section is, the body section, and then I'm going to talk about the different tags. There's documentation at the bottom in the description that you can download and use for revision, or you can use if you're an educator with your students. And then I'm going to be demonstrating how we can implement all these tags into Expression Web. So let's get started. This document here, this is the syllabus from Cambridge for this examination. And if you go in the description, you will be able to find a link to download this if you want. This is for the examination for the years 2023, 2024, and 2025. And in particular, what we're looking at today in this is going to be the meta tags. So there we go. Let me just close that. So this is what we need to know for the exam on this particular section. So I'm in section 21.2. It says here, candidates should be able to use HTML in the content layer. Now, if we look here, it says create the content layer of a web page. And then what we're going to be focusing on is this bit here. Place appropriate elements in the head section of a web page, including inserting a page title to display in a browser, attaching external style sheets with the correct hierarchy using a relative file path. And here we go. Here are the meta tags. So we're going to learn how to add meta tags in the head section and use the appropriate attributes, including to define the character set, name attributes like description, keywords, author, and viewport, and modify the content attribute of that meta tag. And we're going to understand all of this very, very soon. Just showing you what we're going to cover. And the default target windows. And if we go further down to the next section, which actually continued, it basically goes into a little bit more detail. It kind of explains exactly the same thing. You should know what the purpose of the head and the body sections are, the function of the meta tags, and that's what we're going to start with right now. So in the description, you're able to download this document, but I'm also going to give you a copy of this document as well. This is a document which I give my students. So a web page essentially is made up of two main components, the head area and the body area, two sections. The HTML area is basically the entire web page. The body area is what the viewer, whoever's gone to your website, what they actually see when they visit that web page. For example, I've got this sample web page here, which I've made from a past paper. If I just reduce the size of that a little bit, so you can see all of it, this is essentially everything is in the body area. What we can see in this section here, in this all this blue, is the web page, and all of that is in the body section. At the top, we can see the title, the tab. This tab here, it actually says Tawara Balloon Safaris. Now, for the browser to be able to know what title to give this particular tab, that's not part of the body because it's not part of the web page. That, in fact, is part of the head section. And if we look here, here's that piece here where I've actually done that, and it's got here title Tawara Balloon Safaris. Okay, so I've added this tag, the title tag, with the title I want it to display, and then I switch that title. In other words, I end the title tag there. So that goes in the head section. So the purpose of the body section essentially is all of the web page which the viewer sees, and in the head section we add information or data or code which is used by the browser for various things. One of these is the title. The next one that we're going to have a look at, and I'm going to explain all of these first, and then I'm going to show you how we can actually implement them. The next one we're going to look at is Actually, let's go to the base tag next. So the base tag here has the attribute target, and the target here, it says it's underscore new. The base tag in the head section of a HTML source code basically describes, and let me just show you, if I scroll down in this document that you get, I actually explain what each of these tags do. So if we see here, here's the base target equals underscore blank. And it explains what this does. It says this tells a web page how to open new pages. For example, underscore self means open in a same window. In other words, if I'm in this window here and I click on a link, it's going to open that new web page in this window, in this tab. If, however, I put, for example, underscore blank, it's going to open a new tab like that and open the new window here instead of opening it here. So that's what the base target does. Base target equals. So the base tag with the attribute target. The next one I'm going to explain very quickly is this one here. This is the link tag and the attribute href. Now, this basically declares where the style sheet that we're going to apply to this web page is located. Now, we don't need to worry about this one so much, especially if we're using Dreamweaver, because we actually choose to attach a style sheet, and we'll see this in a short while, and it will add this line for us directly in the head section. However, what we do need to know is this: if we have two style sheets linked to a page, let's say I have another style sheet here underneath, so it's the same line as that one there. We've just got another style sheet, and then this one here is actually called J31 style sheet CY1271234.5.CCS. Let's say this one was called J33 style sheet, but it's underneath this line. This blue highlighted, let's say, style sheet will have priority. And why is this? Because CSS stands for cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet means it's going to execute each line after the other. So it's going to execute, as you can see, the numerical lines here, okay, these numbers here, it's going to execute line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, consecutively going downwards. So if this particular one here, this style sheet here, says that H1 heading 1 font color is red, and this one here in this style sheet says that heading 1 font color is blue, then the H1 font color will be blue because it will first execute this one, which will make the writing red, for example, and then it will execute this one. So the final one it executes takes priority or has hierarchy. And it's quite different to the way we think. We think that the one on top has got the hierarchy, whereas it's not. The one that follows is the priority. Okay, so let me just delete these so it doesn't get very confusing. So the next one we're going to have a look at is these ones here. We're going to look at the meta tag. Now, the meta tag, we can see this meta tag here is using the attribute character set or charset. What is this? So when we have a web page, or we visit a web page and it's got English text on there, that's fine. But if it's got French text, then we always see the accents in the correct place. If it's Greek writing, the text will be played correctly. But we don't actually tell the browser, and we don't actually put this in a HTML code, which language our text is. Because then somebody else who's viewing the browser, if they don't have that font, like with Word documents, if you don't have the font, it won't display properly, then it will not display properly. So they had to find a way to fix this little issue. So they came up with these encoding systems. This particular one is UTF-8. Now, UTF-8 has character sets for many, many languages: English, Greek, French, Chinese, Arabic. So irrespective of what character set you're using, what language character set you're using, this character set will identify it and it will display it properly on every device. Okay, now there are many character sets, and we're going to see this when we start implementing in Dreamweaver. These 4 meta tags here, these ones, you can see the setup is exactly the same. They have the name attribute, and then we give it a name, for example, keywords, description, author, or viewport. followed by a content attribute. And again, that format is exactly the same for all of them. So the description attribute, or the name attribute, when we put description, that's the description of the page. And here we can write some information about the information of this page. In other words, Tawara balloon information page. The attribute name with keywords, these are words that we can add, and it's going to make search engines like Google find our page. If, for example, in this page here, if this was to do with holidays and the text holiday is not incorporated in the text anywhere in the body section, it would be a good idea if somebody's searching for holidays for that web page to be a result in their search. So we could add in here where I put balloon, hot air. I put balloon wrong there. I put an OU. Doesn't matter. Hot air, safaris. I could also put comma holiday. And that's just going to make search engines, when somebody's doing a search and they put holidays, if your page is relevant to that kind of search, it will make it appear. So you don't have to add all the text within the body. The author, well, that's, I think, self-explanatory. So we've got the meta tag with the name attribute author, and the content is my name. I'm the author of this page, so I'm just putting that information there, who's actually created the content of this page. You may be asked to add this one and add your center number and candidate number here. Now, this last one here, the viewport, is one which actually helps devices display your web page properly. So here we've got the name attribute and the property is viewport. The content attribute here, this one here is probably the most difficult one because you're going to have to learn this one if you're going to actually use it. Now, each one of these meta tags, they're only going to be about a mark each, maximum 2, and they're not going to ask for all of them. But this one here, you're going to have to learn it. So what does a viewport mean? If somebody's viewing your web page on a mobile device, then the width of that device is narrower than if somebody's viewing your web page on their laptop, on their computer with their big monitor, or on their TV. So to make sure that the width of the page is sized appropriately for the device that they're viewing your web page, you use the meta tag with the name attribute and the property viewport. And for the content attribute, we put this line here. What does it mean? It basically says that the width, in other words, the width of that web page, so the width equals to the device width. So whatever device that they're using, it's going to adjust it for that width. And then the initial scale is 1. So this makes sure that it's not, if you put 2, then it will double up the ratio, let's say. So the initial scale is a 1:1, let's say, scale. And that's it. These are all the things that you need to know when it comes to the head tag from here to here. So these commands and these meta tags. So you've got the commands like title and base, and then you've got the meta tags where we've got character set, the name attribute description, keywords, author, and viewport. And the last one is the command link. This is where we actually add our style sheet, but that's done automatically. So let's jump into Dreamweaver now and see how we can add these easily and some little tips and tricks on how we can remember most of these. Okay, so here we can see the actual paper. This is June 2023, paper 3.1. This is task 3, web page. And we can see that the whole task 3 was basically focused on the meta tags, which goes in the head section. The only thing other extra that you had to do was create one line of code in the CSS style sheet. You had to create the style sheet and just create something which was for H1, H2, H3, and the P tag or the paragraph tag. So you had efficient programming techniques there. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I've got another tutorial in which basically uses Dreamweaver and Expression Web. So just look for that tutorial in my playlists, which talks about all about styles, internal styles, external styles, inline styles, and classes. So everything you need to know about styles is there. So that's all you had to do, one line, and just add a font. That's it. The next part was focused on the meta tags. You had to put 6 tags inside the head section, and that was for 22 marks. So approximately 4 marks for each one of these. So these are the ones we've already discussed. So let's get started with implementing these using Expression Web. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Expression Web. So from here, okay, and let me just show you very quickly my setup, how I set up my interface here. So I always go to the panels and make sure I've only got the tag properties and the manage styles ticked only. I remove everything else. You see my manage styles over here on the right and my tag properties on the left. The manage styles are great for when you're doing your external, internal, and inline styles in your classes. You can actually see them and modify them from here. Your tag properties are great for inline styles. At the top, I only have, if I right click anywhere in this area here, the common, the style, and the style application, but I can add more of these like quick access ribbons or toolbars if I'm looking for something and I don't know where it is. And then finally, I've always got a setup, which is a split view. And you can change that from the bottom down here, the design, split, and code. Okay, so that's design, that's code, and that's split. So that's my interface, and I find it very practical for these exams. Next, as soon as you open up Expression Web, it gives you a default web page, a blank web page with some extra information, which I like removing. You won't lose marks if it's there, but I prefer to remove them because I don't want to give more information about what I'm using to the examiners because it might look odd to them, but they shouldn't remove marks for it. So the first thing is this top line up here. I'm just going to select that, delete it. The next thing is I get rid of what's inside here, inside this HTML tag here, the XMLNS. Up to there, just leave the blank HTML. Here's my head section where it begins. Down here is where my head section ends. And I'm just going to move the body section down there a little bit. So this is the area I'm going to be working in today. This is the head section. This one I'm going to be putting my meta tags. Straight away, I can see I've got here things like content, and which is the text HTML, charset, UTF-8, HTTP equivalent, content types. Now, this information I don't need, but this information is actually quite useful because it's actually telling me, it's giving me the code for the charset. So there's two ways you can do this. In fact, I'm going to show you a beautiful way with Expression Web, how you can add most of these tags, nearly all of them, very, very easily. But we'll use the more difficult method now. So if we have a look at the question paper, it says here, the first thing it wants is the web page. The title of the web page is weather data. Now, I'm going to use this exam paper for this tutorial because it's asking you to do all the tags that you need to know anyway. So might as well see them in an exam scenario. So here's my title here. It's already got the title. I'm just going to paste that in there. That's my title already dealt with. Got a couple of marks already. Now here where I've got the meta tag, I'm looking for this charset UTF-8. Now the easiest thing to do would be to simply copy this. Now you won't have the electronic version, so you can't copy paste. You'll have to type this out carefully. The ISO code, copy that, and then I can just get rid of the UTF-8 part and paste that there. Now, this is now incorporated together with this other attribute content, and the charset now is a property together with the other properties that we got here and this other attribute here as well. Now, does that matter? Absolutely not, because the exam officer is looking for that line there, that piece of code there. I do like getting rid of anything that's not needed. So I could do this, just delete all of that. So my charset becomes the attribute, delete what comes after that. And the good thing is I'm not going to get rid of the backslash because that's where the meta tag ends. And can you see it's highlighted the little speech mark there? So I just need to put my code there in speech marks. Okay, I could do that. The other thing I could do is this. I could just type this out. And because I saw that it's called charset, I can just put meta space charset. And then I'm going to do equals, and then I can just paste my code there, close the meta like that. Okay, that's the other way of doing it if you're writing out the code. So I'm just going to leave that top one for now. So I've added the charset or the character set. I've added the title. Now I'm going to go and add the other, let me just get rid of that blank space there, the other meta tags. Let's go see what we've got. So we've done that one and we've done that one. Next, set the name of the author to Tawara Web followed by space, then your name. Now I'm going to do this using the automatic prompts, and then I'm going to show you the easiest way in Expression Web to do it, a really, really fast way. So I'm going to do this two ways for you. So I want the name of the author to be Tawara Webb. So I'm just going to copy that again. There we go, Control C. So the first thing that I can do is I'm just going to open up here, Meta. I'm going to put name. This is going to be the name of this property. So the name is going to be the author. So there's name there. And if I press enter there, it gives me the equals and the speech marks. So this is going to be the author. Okay, come out of there. And then I'm going to put content. There you go. So if I put a space, you can see the prompts here. So I can select content, press enter, and then I'm going to put Tawara Webb. Oops, where is it? There. And then I'm just going to close that meta tag like that. That's really easy to do, isn't it? There's an even easier way to do. So let's go down. So you can see I'm using the name and then the content. And then I'm going to go to. So I've done that one. That's another point there. That's done. Now, set the web page description to weather data for the Tawara region. So again, this is exactly the same thing. Absolutely no difference in what we've already done. In fact, you can either type this out or you can simply copy paste this line here like so. And then for the name, you're going to put description. And then for the content, you're going to copy. Well, you're going to type. I'm going to copy and get rid of that content from there and paste that there. Voila, done. Simple. Let's do the next one. So we've done this one as well. So the next one is this viewport. Now the viewport I'm going to leave until last because that one we really have to type it out. I'm going to look at set 2 appropriate meta tag keywords for use by search engines for this page. So this is where we put the keywords. And I'm just going to decide on what those keywords are. Now, I have to decide, I'm going to look here, and at the top it tells you that you're working as part of a team of developers at Tawara Web and have asked to been asked to create parts of a web page for a client. We know the title is called Weather Data, so 2 words will be weather and data, I suppose. That would be a good one. So again, I can just copy this, exactly the same thing, paste it there. This time I'm looking at the name of this tag is going to be keywords, and we get that from the question. And in the content, we add our keywords. Let's say weather, and I'm going to put comma, space data, and then whenever you want to add another keyword, just put a comma and then your next word. That's it. Okay, so that's that done as well. So let's move on. So we've done that as well. I'm going to do this one here now. Set the default target window to underscore blank. Okay, so again, you can write this code out, but I don't expect you to remember how to put these codes in, but I'm going to show you anyway. And then I'm going to show you, as I said, the easiest way. So from here, you need to know this is the base target. So I'm going to put the triangle bracket. There it is, base, and then underscore target. Actually, no, target. That's my base target there. Can you see? There it is there. Press enter, and then it's got the underscore blank for you. Let's close that like so. And there you go. Base target equals underscore blank. Okay, so the base is your tag name, and the attribute is target, and the property for that target is an underscore blank. Right, now the last one that is left is going to be the viewport. Now the viewport is the one where we have to type out, we have to remember. Now it does give you some of these properties by default, slowly, but you do actually have to remember this one anyway. And the one thing that we do also have is the name. And that, can you see here, it tells you for each one of these, it says, set the name of the author. So the author was the name. Set the web page description. So here we had description, okay? And then we had keywords. These were what we used for the name, author, description, keywords. And I'm saying this because here it says, set the viewport. So straight away, I'm going to start like this. I'm going to start with my meta tag, meta, and then I'm going to put a space. I'm going to put my name, okay? And that's, there it is, name, and that's going to be Viewport, okay? Now, the next thing that I want, and what we always see here, we have the name and then we have the content. So the next thing that I'm going to want to add is my content. There we go. As soon as I press space, it appears. And now I want to put the properties for the attribute content. So the properties are going to be what it says here. The width of the device, so it should be the width of the device. So that's going to be whatever device they're using, it's going to have that device width and with initial scaling of 2. So whatever the device width is, it's going to times it by 2. So it's going to be twice the width size. So the two properties that I'm going to be looking for is going to be my width, is going to be my, there. So I'm just going to put here, width equals 2. And here I'm going to put device underscore width, like that. Okay, so the width is going to equal to my device width. And then the next one, I'm going to put a comma. My next one is going to be what my initial scale is going to be. So my initial, actually not underscore width, it should be just a dash width, like that. And then my next one is going to be my initial dash scale equals to 2.0. Then I can come after the speech marks, close my meta tag like that. Okay. And that now is basically my viewport. Then you're going to say, well, how am I going to remember all of that? Well, even if you put the meta and then the name equals viewport, there's a mark. If you put the content equals and you put something which is like width equals something or initial scale, you're going to get more marks. So even if you don't do any of this one here, the maximum you're going to lose about 3-4 marks out of the 22 marks, because there were 7 things you had to do and there was 22 marks for it. So I'm thinking a maximum of 4 marks. If you put the name equals viewport, you're going to get at least a 1 mark there. If you put the content equals, there's going to be another mark. So you probably only lose about 2 marks, 2 to 3 marks maximum, if you can't remember that code there. All right, well, that was easy enough. But let's make it even easier. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go File, New, HTML. So here's a new web page. I'm going to do this again very, very quickly. But this time I'm going to show you the dialog box for the page properties. So again, I'm just going to delete all of that. Don't need that. Don't need any of that. And I'm going to get rid of that and that. And then let me just put that in speech marks. So I'm going to go very quickly and get the information that I need. My title. Probably easy if I just type this out. Okay, so there's my title. Then I'm going to get my code for the character set and place that in there. Remember, it's going to be speech marks because now it's a property of an attribute. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at how we can put the other meta tags. So here's the trick, guys. If I right click in this area here, I don't see a way of adding those tags. But since I've got this split mode enabled, if I click inside my preview window, my design window, and now I right click, you're going to see page properties. That's it. Everything you want is here. Look at that. The title is here. Even if I wanted to change the title from here and I didn't copy paste it there like this, click OK. Look at that. It's there. Right click in my design view, page properties, and I can modify that. Now then, page description. Well, that's fine. I'm just going to go get my page description from here and just copy paste that into here. Perfect. Then if I just show you what that looks like, click OK. Look at that. It's added the meta tag with the page description. Now it puts the content first and then the name. That's absolutely fine. Right click, page properties. What else do we have? We've got the keywords. So we said the keywords were going to be weather and data. Separated with a comma and anything else. Click OK. There you go. There's my meta tag. Right click, page properties. What else do I want to put in here? So So now I want to set default target window to underscore blank. So if we have a look here, right click properties, and we can see, where do we have something that says target, base location, target frame. There you go. Here I can put, no, let's just click on the edit button there and target setting underscore blank. Click OK. Actually, it didn't want a capital letter, did it? Okay, and there you go, and click OK. And it should have my base, there you go, base target blank. It's put it for me straight away. All right, right click. What else do I want here? Let me have a look. So I've done that. Keywords, description, author. So I want the author now. So the author, if I look here, I don't have one for the author, but you know, there's two ways of doing this. I can either copy one of these and put the author, or if I right click here, page properties, and this time I'm going to go create a custom tag, and I can see here my description and keywords. I'm just going to add, and I'm going to call this one author, and the value is going to be, what was it, Tawara Web. Let's just check. So the author is going to be, yes, Tawara Web, one word. There we go, and click OK, and OK. And look at that, it's added it for me. Meta tag, content, Tawara Web, name, author. Fantastic. So the only thing that's left now is my viewport. Let's go right click, page properties. Again, I'm going to create a custom. I'm going to add. So the name is going to be Viewport. So I can now put from here, let's see if this is going to work. Width equals to device width. So I'm just going to put device width. Click OK and OK. And look at that, content width equals device width, name viewport. And if I want to modify it, again, I can go to right click, page properties. I'm going to go to my custom. Here is my viewport one. I'm going to modify it, and I'm just going to add to this initial dash scale equals to 2.0. Click OK. And there you go. We can see that Expression Web is actually, I feel, really easy to use. The interface is great to use, but you just have to remember that you're going to find these page properties here. You probably find it up here in the menus as well. So if you go up to the top and look in the menus, but the easiest way, since you're using, or I'm always using my preview window in split mode, I can just right click in this page here, go to page properties, and I have everything here, and anything that I want to modify is here. If they come up with a new meta tag that they want, then I can just go to custom. I can go to add here, and I can call this, I don't know, date of, I'm just going to put date of design. Okay, and then the value is going to be, I don't know, what's the date today? Let's put today's date, the 12th of October 2024. Click OK. And there you go. Meta tag. There's my content, and there's the name. All right. So I hope you've learned something new. I hope you've enjoyed this. I really do hope these tutorials using Microsoft Expression Web is helping a lot of you out. As I said, I do have this tutorial using Dreamweaver as well, so you can go to that one if you want to. And if you have learned something new, you have found this interesting, yeah, you know the drill. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you again next video. Take care. Bye-bye.